Kurt, with the sixth opener, I'm going to take you back through what we believe Open Communities means at North Carolina Virtual in terms of collaboration. Around about 2000, a lot of K-12 educators got vested in professional learning communities. And these were fairly rigid in terms of tight expectations. They took place in a face-to-face environment. And then several early adopter principals got wise in North Carolina around 2005 and started going to e-learning communities, where they would have webinars, or they might have a Google Talk chat, or they might have some ways that people could do short sort of vignettes of discussions. And I think in the last few years, with Twitter and other services, we've really moved to personal learning communities. So school districts in North Carolina, and I suspect in the nation, struggle with how to capitalize on collaboration in general. And typically when you mention collaboration, people think it's face-to-face, or it's about people sitting together in a room. But what I really want you to talk about for our viewership is how the web has really seen a rise in social media and collaboration that we're only beginning to realize the value of, and what districts and schools across the world and the nation are doing to leverage it.
When I first taught on the web, I had 30% drops. I added social icebreakers to my class, and I had 0 drops. So think about social networking. Think about the groups on the web that are possible today, and what happens in Facebook, and people track what's going on in Facebook, but they have discussions wrapped around it. It's a space, it's a social space. There's a lot of academic stuff happening there, but you could easily add academic, socially interactive events, tasks, and so forth around that Facebook page, a fan page of a class, and a Ning group or whatever. So I think what's happening today is people are becoming aware that students have always socialized. In fact, I did some research with the military. We found 30% of discussions were social in nature, and only 10% were technical, and the rest were cognitive. And the generals were very happy to see 30% was social, because that's what happened in face-to-face. I mean, people walk in the classroom, they're socializing. If you expect people in an online environment to only be doing a task and be done, you're going to have people dropping out like flies. So you have to have this socially shared knowledge, the sense that you're important, you're giving something to that community as well as getting something. If you're just getting something from it, it's a portal. You go there and you grab, and that was the last opener. That was the numbers 4 and 5. You go there, you grab something you need, but when you get to 6, what's important about 6 is you're giving something. The web's not just a browsing tool. You're creating a video. You're creating a podcast. You're adding a Ustream, TV show, if you will. Or kids are creating their own TV shows. Kids are creating a podcast or adding to a wiki book. My students write wiki books with students around the world. And since the late 1990s, we've had online case learning. My students working with students from Finland and Korea and Peru and the UK, solving each other's problems that they posted on the web. I developed the Intraplanetary Teacher Learning Exchange, or TITLE. I had pre-service teachers doing that. And then I had in-service teachers doing something similar in the state of Indiana in rural schools. So getting them intraplanetary, we're only on one planet, so it's in the TITLE project, Interplanetary Teacher Learning Exchange. We can do the same with kids. So easy to do, and what's exciting about opener number 6 is that we've got it there. We're there. We're no longer just looking at numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 gets us in. It gets us kids motivated, excited. They have autonomy, they have choice, and they're empowered. Now, the questions we have, you're asking what questions we have, is quality. If kids create a wiki book, are you going to reuse that wiki book? If someone creates a web resource as a team, are we going to ignore it, use it, or how should we use it? I mean, what kind of quality indicators will we place on that? Will we discard it? Will we maintain it? And who will do so if we decide to do that? Or will we reinvent this wiki book on whatever topic it is? Every year, our American history wiki book, every year the same class does it. Or are we going to expand from a previous year? Are we going to, and then delete those things that no longer work? And so these are some questions we now have to raise that we didn't raise before, when kids haven't been designers of their own knowledge. Back in the late 80s, I was in a school in Madison where they threw out the high school textbooks, and kids did a hypermedia stacks creating the textbooks. The biggest problem the principal had was keeping the school open on the weekend. I think that's the problem we're going to have with Web 2.0 is kids are going to be so excited. It's just keeping everyone, all the resources we've had in a traditional school setting available to them.